friends, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Chiwendumoke and I'm a Nigerian YouTuber based in United Kingdom. If this is your first time stopping by this channel, you're welcome to my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always showing up. I really appreciate it. In today's video, we're going to be preparing another mouth-watering banger. So we're going to be preparing meat pie in this video. And to prepare our meat pie, we'll be using the following ingredients. So our number one ingredient for today's meat pie would be our minced meat. So here is my minced meat. And we'll be using some flour as well. So I've got here 1 kg of flour. We'll be using a pinch of salt. We'll be making use of this cutter and this cutter. I'll just be showing you the different shapes you could have your pie in. We'll be making use of some white pepper. I've got my olive oil here, which I'm going to use to spray my pan. We'll be making use of some red pepper, dried red pepper, some black pepper as well. We'll be using some baking powder in today's recipe. I'll be making use of 3 medium-sized eggs. I'll be making use of some carrots, and I'll be making use of mashed potato. So you could use your normal chopped potato, you chop it into bite sizes like this, but in today's video I want to show you how mashed potato brings out your meat pie. It's just the same thing. In fact, I prefer it that way, mashed, because it's just like I'm chewing on chicken or something. It's a really nice feeling using the mashed potato. That's why I've decided to use it in today's video. So come along with me as we prepare our meat pie. So guys, the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to sieve my flour. And the reason we sieve flour is to make sure that it's breathable. You know, allow air into the flour. That's the essence of getting to sieve your flour. So that's it. I'll just be putting in some into my sieve, and I'll be sieving in my flour. So this is what I've got after sieving the flour, just a little hard lumps there. So as you can see, the flour looks a little bit airy now. This is what it looks like when you're done sieving. So the next thing I'll be adding in now is just a teaspoon of baking powder. So you add all your dry ingredients at the same time. So I've put in 1 full teaspoon of baking powder. And here I've got 5 cups of flour. So 5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder is what I've put in here now. And I'm just going to use my smallest measuring spoon, which is just a pinch of salt. So this is it. And then you put in your pinch of salt in. The next thing I'm going to be adding in is another dry ingredient, which is sugar. So I prefer to use caster sugar, and I don't bake my meat pie with a lot of sugar. So I'm using ½ cup of sugar for 5 cups of flour. And then when you're done with this, you just incorporate them together. So this is all my dry ingredients here. I'm just going to mix them all up together, combine it together. So that's it. So guys, I've put in my egg and I'm just going to start combining it together. Some people don't like using their hands to do this, but like I said, it's optional. You could use anything else. If you have a mixer and you find it better using a mixer, that's fine. But I don't have a mixer here at the moment, so I'm using my hands. and my hands will also help me get the right consistency I need for my pie. And I used 3 medium-sized eggs for this, and I found that I don't even need to put in water. But sometimes you might add in the egg and the dough wouldn't have come together this way, so you might be needing some water to do this. But for me here, I do not need any water. So guys, this is my dough and you can see how nice it's looking. So all I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to use a cling film to wrap it over, and I'll be keeping it in the fridge for an hour. I'll be allowing it to sit in my fridge for an hour, and after an hour I'll be back with our dough. So this is going to improve the consistency of our dough as well. That's why we put it in the fridge for an hour. So guys, it's time to prepare our filling. It's time to prepare our filling. So all I'm going to be doing now is to spray my pan, my non-stick pan. So I've got some olive oil here, and I'll be spraying my non-stick pan with olive oil. The non-stick pan has been on for about 3 minutes now. So all I'm going to be doing is to spray it just to grease the pan, and then I'll be adding in my minced meat. So I'll go in now with my minced meat. I'm going to add in some grated pepper, just a little bit, because I'll be using some dry pepper as well. I've got my white pepper here, so I'm going to sprinkle some white pepper. And I've got dried red pepper as well, so I'll just sprinkle some as well in it. And then I'll go in with my black pepper. So just use what you like and what works for you. So for me, I like to have white pepper, black pepper, and a combination of all of them in my meat pie filling. I'll be going in with some salt to taste. And 1 cube of Maggi. So that's it, and I'm just going to stir it. So we call this sauteing. So I'm just going to saute my chicken, my minced meat, sorry, I keep saying chicken, my minced meat. I'm going to saute my minced meat until it looks almost cooked, nearly cooked. So I'll just keep sauteing until it's almost cooked. So guys, this is 5 minutes later, and I have been sauteing this and it has produced its own water. So what I'm going to be doing now is to add in the carrot, because the carrot needs to steam and get softened up a bit. So I'm going to add the carrot. I won't be adding the potato mesh just yet because it's already steamed before I meshed it. So I'm just going to be walking through with this first. So I've combined this thoroughly, and I'll just cover it up, and I'll leave it to steam for 10 minutes on low heat, and then I'll come back. So guys, this is 10 minutes later, and my carrot seems to be soft enough for now, and I'm just going to be adding in my potato mesh. And after adding in my potato mash, I'll go in with a little bit of water and allow it to steam up as well. So this is some water here, just half cup of water. So the advantage of using potato mash is when you have your mash, you don't need to add in any flour, and you would get a very moist and very wet feeling, you know. That's the advantage of using potato mash for your meat pie rather than the chopped potato. So with this now, as you can see, it has come together, so I don't need to add in any flour to bring it together. So I'm just going to allow this for another 2 minutes and I'll allow it to cool down. So guys, this is an hour later and my dough has been in the fridge for an hour. I've just brought it out and I've put them into tiny balls just for easier rolling. Now this is my meat pie cutter. I'm going to be using this to demonstrate to you how you can use this. I'll also be using this one to get a circular shaped meat pie, and I'll show you the third method just using my hand and the normal way it's done. So let's get started. Before I start, on my surface I'd like to sprinkle some flour so that it will be easy to work with my dough, and then I begin to roll the dough. So what I do is I try to roll the dough into a circular shape as much as I can. I roll it out into a circular shape as much as I can, and then I use the smallest cover, my smallest pot cover, to get the size, the shape and the size I need for my pie. So this is it. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'll be showing you the first way you could work with your pie. So this is the filling. I've allowed it to cool down for 30 minutes and that's it here. So as you can see, look at how nice it's looking. I'm just going to add this here. Now this is it. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to use a brush and water. So I'll be using this brush, some water, just to brush it around the edge, and I'll take it over and turn it. Then I'll use my hand to control the edges. So you can see this is the first way you could make your meat pie, and it's looking very nice already. So I'll just go with my fork to close the edges. I'll go with my fork to close the edges. So this is it. This is what it looks like. You can see how lovely it's looking, even though it's not yet baked. So this is one, and this is one method of making your pie. So the next method is you can use a meat pie cutter. However, what I found using the meat pie cutter is you won't be able to add in as much filling as you added when you worked with just using your hands to close the dough. So like I said, you roll into a circular and this is it. So I'm going to just be taking this and putting on top this pie cutter, and you can see it's almost the same circumference as the pie cutter. The next thing I'll be doing is to add in my pie filling here. So I can't put more than this because if I do, it will be difficult to close. So all I try to do, you see the dump in the middle, you just make sure that your pie fills it, and once it fills it in, you walk through that way. So this is it. You can see that middle dump hole. You just spread it through like that, and then the next thing you'll be doing is to close it. So this is it now, using a pie cutter. And just to say that anyone that works for you is fine. Now this looks very, very nice as well. It's still the same thing. I love using pie cutters when I want to make it very even and make it look very, very presentable. I go with this, but however, this is also the same because they will taste exactly the same, but you can see that the pie cutter has given it a finer look, or a more presentable look, I would say, and it would make your meat pie look more even and give you a nicer output. The third way to make your pie, I'll be showing you this one as well. Like I say, you roll it out into a circular circumference. Then you use you could use any round bowl that has a sharp edge for this as well. So for this, I'm going to be needing 2 flat circles. So I'll roll out another one. I'm going to be rolling out another one. So this is it. And I'll do the same thing. So just watch and see what I'm going to be doing now. I'll add in my filling into this. I'll use my brush round it. Next, I'll be dropping this over. So just keep watching. And I'll be using this to work in. And this is it. So you have your pie. You can have your pie this way if you want. So this is all I do to get my pie that way. You can also work in with this one to close it up further. So this is another way you could have your pie. So these are the 3 different ways. However, my best way is to work with my pie cutter. I like the outcome when I use a pie cutter. So guys, this is our pie already, set to bake. The next thing we'll be doing is to egg wash this pie. So the essence of egg washing your pie is so that your pie is crispy. So this is all we'll be doing right now. With a brush here, you just rub this all over your pie. Like I've just said, it would help your pie come out very crispy. And you can see how lovely this pie looks using a cutter. However, if you do not have a cutter, you can use the first method I taught you, or the first method I demonstrated, which is using any circular plate or pan cover and your hand and fork to do it. It still turns out the same. What matters is that your pie tastes lovely. And both methods will still give me the same taste of pie, so it doesn't really matter. And after egg washing this, I'll just put it into the oven. So you preheat your oven I've preheat it at 180 degrees centigrade, right? 180 degrees centigrade. That's what I'm preheating at, and I'm going to be baking at 180 degrees centigrade. So I just preheat it for 10 minutes and I'll be putting this in shortly. I'll be baking my meat pie for 45 minutes, and after 45 minutes I'll check and see how it is. If it's completely baked, I'll be bringing it out, and if it's not, I'll give it another 5 to 10 minutes to bake. So this is it. I've egg washed my pie. So another thing you could do after egg washing is to go in with your fork and just so this would allow your meat pie to breathe while baking. It would allow air into your meat pie while baking it. And that's it. So I'm going to just shove this into my pan now, my oven now. So guys, this is the outcome of my meat pie. My meat pie is ready, and it was in the oven for 40 minutes. And 40 minutes later, this is my meat pie. This is what it looks like. You can see how moist it is, and it tastes very delicious, I must say. So this is it. If you enjoyed watching this video, please kindly give it a thumbs up, kindly smash that subscribe button for me, and kindly turn on your notification bell so that as soon as I drop more videos, you'll be one of the first people to get notified. Thank you so much for your support, and until next time, bye.